What is up, guys, and welcome to Sony Simplified, the show that gives you simple tips and tricks on how to get the most out of your Sony products. I'm your host, Craig from Sony, and as always, I do all the hard work so that you guys sitting here watching me right now don't have to do anything but listen and learn. And today is a kind of a fun episode, I think. And I know I always say this, but today I'm for real. This is gonna be a fun episode because I'm covering something that I don't think a lot of people really know how to utilize or know that they can utilize it at all. And today I'm talking about using the Sony BRAVIA Connect app on your smart device to control your Sony BRAVIA TV. Yes, you heard that right. You can actually control your Sony BRAVIA TV with the Sony BRAVIA Connect app. And I know a lot of people think that, oh, that was just for the sound bars. That's how you can control the sound bars and change the settings and update it and all that sort of thing. And nope, that is true, right? But that's not all you can do with that app. You can actually control your Sony XR BRAVIA TV. And that is kind of cool and a feature I don't hear a lot of people talking about. So today we're going to get into that and talk about what you can do with it. Well, first I'm going to show you how you can set it up with your smart device and your TV. And then I'll show you some of the things that you can do with it, right? So whether that's controlling your volume, whether that's, I don't know, changing picture settings, you know, adjusting inputs on your TV. I mean, there's so much you could do. It's kind of like hard for me to choose, but I'm gonna probably stick with those three topics today. So today is gonna be all about how to get the most out of your Sony BRAVIA Connect app with your Sony BRAVIA TV. So let's get started. But before we actually dive into the topics here, just make sure you guys are liking, subscribing to the channel, hit the bell for notifications, share this with your friends, share this with your family. Remember, this is the Sony Connect channel, right? So that means we want to really connect with you guys and do as much as possible. So we want to make sure we want to make sure that we have the topics you guys want to hear. We want to make sure that we're getting feedback from you guys, interacting with you guys as much as possible. So if there's anything you want to see in the future, any topic that you're like, man, I really wish they talked about this more, go ahead and throw that in the comments or throw that in the chat. And speaking of the chat, we are live right now, so don't be afraid to throw those questions or ideas into the chat. I'll do my best to answer what I can. If I don't have an answer, I'm usually really good at getting the answer for you guys. So I usually try to comment back as much as I can. You know, post the show in the comments if there are some questions and stuff. So please don't be afraid. But since we are live, like I said, throw questions you got in the chat and I'll do my best to answer in the chat and have some interactive fun with you guys on this really cool topic. And I'm going to start with a question of my own here, which is, which Sony BRAVIA TV are you planning to, or are you currently using the Sony BRAVIA Connect app with? And I'll start first by answering that. And my answer is I'm using the awesome Sony BRAVIA 5, which is one of my favorite TVs that Sony has put out in a long time. So I'm using that, and that's what I'll be using to demonstrate how to do all this stuff today. So stick around and we will have a lot of fun. So first and foremost, obviously the big kind of how-to that we want to talk about is, well, how do I connect my smart device to my Sony BRAVIA TV, right? And it's actually way more simple than I can probably explain. In fact, I did just go through it, and it takes about maybe 40 seconds, less than 40 seconds really, but 40 seconds because I was kind of making sure I had enough time to explain it to you guys. But the first thing you really need to make sure you have is that the TV and your smart device, whether it's an Android or an iOS device, they both need to be on the same network. So the TV and your phone need to be on the same Wi-Fi network for this to even work. So first of all, make sure that you're doing that, right? So I've already done that. And then first thing you're gonna do is obviously then you're gonna open up your BRAVIA Connect app, and you should see, it may automatically pop up and show you like, hey, this device or these devices, that if you have several Sony devices that support, you know, have support through the app, they may pop up automatically for you, like here we are. Otherwise, you can actually click on add device. So go ahead and click on add device, and you should see your device pop up. In my case here, it's going to do a little kind of setup. It's going to look for the device, and you'll see here it pops up and shows that I have the BRAVIA 5 TV available. I'm going to click on that, and what you'll see now is that you'll actually have a QR code pop up. And with that code, where you scan it with your phone, because it's going to pop up on your phone as well with the camera option, you're going to scan that QR code, and that's basically what it's going to use to pair, right? It's going to find each other. And then you're going to confirm that those codes match, right? So look on your TV, look at the bottom of your TV, and see if the codes match. As long as the codes match, you're gonna hit okay. And it's gonna be really quick, right? I'm gonna hit okay on this, and then you're gonna see it kind of cycle through some stuff. It's gonna be thinking, connecting. And then once you do, boom, you're gonna see that it says, hey, great work. We've connected our TV to our app, and it's gonna pop up to the home screen there. So that should be pretty straightforward, right? If there's any issues, please let me know in the chat if there are any issues or comments, obviously if this is in the future. But it's pretty basic. As long as, again, you have your device, your phone, right? Your iOS or Android device is on the same network as your TV, you should be solid. And it should be pretty straightforward to just kind of walk you through how to do that. All right, so now that we're in the app itself, you can take a look around, right? So you can see here, there's a ton of different things you can do, right? First and foremost, I'm gonna just call out a couple things. So I'll kind of show you how to do it, but you got volume control, you've got mute, you've got channel up and down, you've got access to settings, the menu. So really quick, I want to talk a little bit first and foremost about how to control the volume. And this is all, by the way, this is all in real time, which is really cool. So obviously you see it there, it's the volume button. So all you gotta do is plus or minus. So you can control the volume, and you see me here, I'm tapping the volume. And it's very intuitive. It's automatic. It's immediate. It's not like I have to tap on it and wait like 10 seconds for the TV to respond. It's right there, right? So super cool, right? Same thing with the channel up, down. If I want to change the channel up or down, I can do that as well. But the other thing I want to point out within this kind of home screen on the app is if you're in your, if you're in the home screen menu on your TV, right? So you're on the BRAVIA home screen, and you see kind of all your recommendations, you know, your apps, anything like that. This little keypad down here, it's like a touchpad. If you can see, it's kind of like a blue, kind of bluish, transparent blue screen, kind of square right in the middle there. That is an easy touch navigation, right? So super cool. I can just kind of roll my finger along it, and I can change. And as you see here, you should be able to see what I'm doing. So I can change inputs, right? I can go from home to live to apps, to shop, all that stuff just by touching this, like swiping left and right, which is really cool. And then I can swipe down, and I can actually go to my apps that I have on my TV here, right? So I'm actually looking down here, and I'm seeing, you know, my Sony Pictures Core app I can choose on. I can choose, you know, YouTube if I want to. Any of the services through my apps, I don't have to actually, you know, click left or right. I can just actually swipe left or right to access it, you know, up and down and stuff. So that's actually, I think, a really cool, it's a really cool kind of way to navigate the TV. You know, a lot of people, you know, ask for that. You know, I don't want buttons anymore. I get it. You can still use your remote if you want to, but this kind of makes it, I feel, a little more modern and fun and kind of cool and futuristic by being able to just kind of use your phone. Your phone's always on you, right? The remotes get lost. I don't know many people that lose their phone. Obviously, you can lose your phone, but you know, more than likely you're going to look really hard or have someone call you and you'll find it, right? So you always have your phone on you. This is a way that you can just access the TV remote and functionality straight through your phone without having to worry about the remote. So that can be lost, and you know, I'm not recommending that you lose your phone, but if you lose it, that's not a big deal. So that's kind of a couple of the cool things you can do here. Now, another thing, and really the last thing, right, I wanted to talk about what you can do with this before I kind of cut you guys loose to play with this on your own, is you can actually change the picture and sound settings. So if you click on picture and sound, which is an option on the app itself towards the top, I can change, right? If I click on the picture settings, an actual window will pop up, and it just gives me all of our picture settings from vivid, standard, cinema, professional, calm, photo, IMAX, enhanced, right? And all I gotta do is click on which one I want to have my TV setting at, which is really cool, right? Because it doesn't require you to, you know, go into the you know, settings on the TV with the remote, you know, pull up a menu, scroll over to that menu, click on that menu, click on picture, right? There's a lot of steps involved if you're just using the remote and using the TV. When you use the app itself, the BRAVIA Connect app, it's right there. I mean, it's super easy to set. And then within there, you can actually do, you know, other settings. You got a brightness setting that's pretty quick and easy to access. So there's a ton of stuff, right? You can change your audio output. You can, you know, at the very top. Now, here's what's cool too, is at the very top of the app, right? I just tap on that and I can switch my inputs like right there, right? So I just clicked on the switch the input or app here, and boom, instead of having to go to my home page and swipe around like we did with our finger there, I just hit that and now I can access whatever apps that I have that I mainly put, whether it's Sony Pictures Core or YouTube or whatever our favorite apps are right there. And then you also have the ability to access your inputs and your devices. So if you have multiple things hooked up via HDMI, all those settings are right there. I can actually just boom, click right to, let's say, a Blu-ray player or a gaming system or my cable box, all right in there. So very, very simple, very easy. Don't be afraid to play with this and kind of learn it on your own. Cause like I said, I covered quite a few things, honestly, and really the basics, right, that I think you guys most likely would use. But I think there's a ton of things that you can really play with and have fun with and learn on your own. So I encourage you to do that. I encourage you guys to download this app if you have a Sony BRAVIA TV that is compatible. And speaking of, let's double check real quick, just so you guys are aware which Sony BRAVIA TVs are actually compatible with the Sony BRAVIA Connect app. And those models are, and I'll list them out for you, and you should see them as well. Probably put on the screen here. I'm assuming it's going to be like right maybe here, somewhere in this area. But those TVs that are capable of using the BRAVIA Connect app are the A95L series TVs, the BRAVIA 2 Mark II, the BRAVIA 3, the BRAVIA 5, the BRAVIA 7, the BRAVIA 8, the BRAVIA 8 Mark II, the BRAVIA 9, and then the XR8 series TVs, which is like the XR8B OLED that we have out right now. So those are the models for you, and you should see that on the screen again, so you guys can read which models, confirm which ones you have, and make sure that it's going to work with your TV. And obviously it also has the ability to use this with soundbars. But again, I'm just covering TVs today, so we don't need to get really into the soundbar stuff. Although obviously the app does control the soundbars as well. So don't forget about that. All right, so I encourage you guys to download the app and have fun with it and learn it. Like I said, the biggest thing here is to make sure that your device and your TV are both on the same network. And once you do that, it's super easy. It walks you really through how to do it kind of on your own, right? I'm glad I could help you guys out and kind of coach you through it right now. And maybe there's some hiccups, maybe not. Hopefully there's not. It should be very, very simple. But yeah, it's super easy, super fun, super cool. I encourage you guys to play with it and mess with it. So right now we're going to switch back and see if there's any questions that you guys have. So please drop any questions right now into the chat, and I'm going to do my best right now as we speak here to answer any of those questions for you guys. And hopefully there's not a ton, because there shouldn't be a ton, because I think I answered pretty much everything. But let's double check here and see what we have for questions. Okay, so first and foremost, I do want to call out some of you guys here that have been chatting in the chat here. So like Rodriguez, what's up? We got Radu, and I know some of these names I'm going to mess up here. Jamie, hello, Rodolph, and Robert Conrad, Jersey, Renee. All right, so there are a couple questions that did pop up in the chat while I was kind of going over that stuff. All right, so Robert Conrad, look at you, man. You got the BRAVIA 8 II. I just want to call this out because I think this is kind of a good kind of thing to start with. Is yes, it does feel, I guess, maybe a little bit time consuming to jump, from the actual TV remote to the app on your device. However, I mean, it's more interactive, I think, right? There's a lot more you can kind of do. Yes, you can do a lot of that stuff with the remote, but like I said, the swiping with your finger makes it a little easier. There's some just quick buttons versus having to like kind of scroll around. So I do appreciate the call out. So definitely, but I'm more proud of you for having that BRAVIA 8 Mark II, because that's an awesome TV. Renee, I know you have a 2017 A1E. That's old school. So awesome TV there. It doesn't work with the app and everything, but yeah, it doesn't die. That thing's a beast, right? I'm wondering, does it still look really good, as good as the day you got it? All right, so there is an actual question here though, Rodolph. I don't want to try and mess up the rest of that. So if you have a Sony home theater, specifically what though? What do you have specifically? But it's not a Sony TV. Can you still control the TV with the app? So it's a couple of things there. So let me know if you can in the comments or in the chat, sorry. which specifically home theater you have. But if you have a Sony like soundbar that supports the app, right, like the Bar 8, the Bar 9, some of our other bars that are out there right now, yeah, you can control the sound bar itself, but you can't actually, if it's not a Sony TV, you're not going to be able to control the actual TV, even though you have a Sony, let's say, home theater system that it has support with the app on it as well. So hopefully that answered that question. And I see Robert Conrad there trying to call me out. Dude, I'm totally live, just so you know. I mean, otherwise, how would I know that you're saying this to me right now? But no, thank you for saying it doesn't feel live, because I feel proud that it doesn't feel live, because that means I'm doing such a good job here with that. And Renee, dead chat. It's not dead. It's kind of like just slow with it right now. So that's on you guys to keep the chat going live, by the way, because I'm talking. I can't be doing all this at the same time, right? All right, the S2000s, Rodolfo, but I don't believe that actually support with the app itself. I'll double check that. But I think it's got to be the theater systems, like the Bar 8, the Bar 9. I'll double check on the S2000 though. I don't think it has support, but I will get back on that one as well. Renee, okay, you're answering back on the A1E. Looks good. The upscaling has marched on. Oh, well, you know, I'd say it's still great upscaling, I'm sure, for that TV, for the time, right? But obviously we're almost 10 years later. So yes, upscaling has gotten quite a bit better with the TVs, especially with like the XR processor and stuff that came down the road and stuff. Okay, it does feel live now. Thank you, Robert. Yes, we're live. So calling you out. Okay, so I don't want to say I'm gonna say is Nagy. We're gonna say that. Can you talk about a quick Makopi question? I don't know much about it, unfortunately, right this second. I mean, you can ask it. I'd say you're better off asking that question about Makopi maybe in the comments afterwards, because then I can go back and find the answer for you to give you that question, because Makopi is not really a thing that I'm super tight with, and I would want to make sure I get you the right answer. So let's make sure we just throw that in the chat afterwards here. But thank you guys. Thank you, Renee, on that. Doing great things. So thank you. I appreciate it. I love the hearts. Sony hearts. Good. Rodolfo, thank you. Yes. I'm glad that I could answer the question for you. And then Robert Conrad, thank you for chiming in with that. Yeah, the app does work phenomenal with the Theater Bar 9. Are we going to, your question is you assume that we are going to be going towards this type of control regardless for the products? I mean, yes, yeah, probably yes and no is kind of the mixed question, the mixed answer I'm going to give you with that is, I'd say the app is very future, like I kind of mentioned it earlier, futuristic. I probably said really cool a million times. Like I think I'm going to clock myself on how many times I said really cool. But yeah, I think the way things are going is more app-based stuff, right? You can still use remotes and that sort of thing, but I think from a futuristic perspective and kind of going forward, the app is really, app-based stuff is just kind of where everything's kind of going, right? I mean, controlling soundbars, TVs, wireless speakers, like headphones. I mean, everything requires an app now to kind of maximize the potential of everything out there, all your products and stuff. So I think that is the future, but good call out for sure. Okay, let me see if I can answer a couple more questions here, because we now are starting to get a lot more chat questions coming through. So will the TV, all right, here's a, where's my pants? Great. That's a cool username. Will the TV upscale DVDs better than a Blu-ray player? So, I mean, that's also kind of a mixed question. So the TV will do a phenomenal job in upscaling, you know, Sony TV specifically, right? Especially with the XR processor, will do a ton of really good upscaling itself. Blu-ray players also, so for instance, like Sony Blu-ray players do an excellent job of having an upscaling processor within them as well, right? So it's kind of like you're getting double kind of upscaling in a way, I guess, if I'm saying that correctly. But the TVs do the bulk of the work with making your content that is not 4K or HD to make it look closer to that as well. So hopefully that kind of answers your question. as we get a flood of questions more in here. So thank you guys. I appreciate it. This interactive stuff is what we want for these lives. Um, so Roberto Conrad, again, you're asking about the Theater Bar 9 and usage with the app. So you asked because the Theater Bar 9 remote is very minimal. Yeah, it is totally very minimal with it. There's no display on the bar. Yeah, that's feedback we've gotten about that as well. But yes, to your point, the app is kind of, I mentioned it early, right? Is that the app is totally about giving you guys, you have your phone on you, right? I've said it earlier, but you have your phone on you. You can lose the remote. I'm not saying to lose the remote, but I'm saying if you lost the remote, you have everything and more kind of always on you, right? So I know Robert Conrad, sorry, not Roberto. Robert, you've mentioned that the app feels harder to navigate, or it's not as quick to do a lot of things. And yeah, it can take some time. You got to take it out. You have to open the app. You have to connect, make sure it's connected to your TV, etc. But there are a ton more you can do with it, and you always have your phone on you all the time. I don't care who you are. I don't see people that leave it laying around and go to another room. So that is kind of, I think, where the future is with a lot of the stuff here. So thank you for that question, though. Awesome stuff. All right, let me see if I can answer a few more of these. So Renee, you're asking about the let's see, NVIDIA Shield would help with AI upscaling feature on the A1E. Yeah, I don't know anything about it. I'm not very good. I would say, I think you still are, forget that the A1E still has an award-winning video processor on it, right? So I think you're still getting really good stuff. Yes, have Sony processors gotten much better now than they were then? Of course. I mean, it's kind of the evolution of a lot of things. However, your processor is still a top-notch video processor, even in the A1E. So I don't know. I don't know what else you're going to gain by adding some other stuff in there as well. But I just don't know a lot about that product to be able to talk about it with Sony TVs at all. Let's see. Robert Conrad, again, you're coming in. It feels like reading a book on my iPad versus an actual book in my hand. I get it. Totally. It's a mental thing. Yep. I understand that some people just want to have a physical remote on them and not mess with it. I'm with you. I'm the same way. I use the app occasionally. It's not an everyday usage thing, but like I said, I think from a future perspective, this is kind of, it's good to have, right? It's good to know it and learn how to utilize it and stuff like that. How do you get the BRAVIA Connect app? Great question. Francisco Cruz, you're asking that. So the BRAVIA Connect app is super simple. If you just go to your app store, the Google Play Store, all you gotta do is type in Sony BRAVIA Connect, and it's usually the very, very first one. I think I have it. Let me see if I can show an image of it. I don't know if, Tim, if we have an image or a logo we could pull up, but I'll see if I can do that real quick. So you can kind of see it. Sorry, I'm like stretching here, but it's the only app on the screen right there. Boy, tell me to get better at live and showing logos and stuff. But yeah, it's on there. Just App Store, Google Play Store, Sony BRAVIA Connect app, and you should see it. That should be either the first one, or it should be the first one that comes up for you guys. Let's see, what else do we got? Yeah, App Store. Thank you, Renee, for answering that as well. Does Sony have a live TV app in English? I see an Indian. What? I'm confused here. So what are you at? A live TV app, like the one we're talking about, is in English. I'm doing everything in English right now. I can't really respond to I didn't see an Indian an app when I was looking it up. I think it may be based on where your location is. So keep that in mind. If you're in a different country, you may have to, a different selection of apps available for you. So I can't speak to that because it is definitely, I promise you, at least in the States here, it is in English to use the live TV app as well. I'm hoping that I kind of answered that question for you, Yeshaya. I'm hoping I said that name right as well. Right. And Robert Conrad got another comment here. The BRAVIA Connect app frequently dropped connection and couldn't sync with the bar. You have to delete the app and re-add it. Doesn't seem to be doing it lately. Is it fixed? I can find out for you. I haven't had that issue with any of the products that I've used with the BRAVIA Connect app at all. It could have been maybe some bug that you were kind of experiencing, but I haven't heard of it being a persistent issue or anything like that. So um, I do know to make sure though that your app is updated. So I've done some videos where I kind of walk through setting up like your bar with the app itself, and that's one of the things that gets called out that a lot of people forget is um, not everyone has apps set for auto updates. So just make sure that you're going into your app store and making sure that the app is current. So it might say to update it. If you don't have it for auto update, it might have to be pushed an update for the app itself. So thank you, Robert, for that question, because that's good. What would you say? All right, Rodolph. I don't. If I'm saying that, give me a thumbs up. I'm gonna say it's Rodolph. But what would you say the big difference between Sony and other brands for TVs? I'm assuming. Yeah, Sony TVs and other brands. So that's a loaded question, right? And without going into crazy detail, I would say number one is video processing. I mean, we have award-winning video processing. We win awards all the time for it. That is your brain of the TV. It's doing all of the work. It's running your motion, your backlighting, your color. Every single thing is the processing has to be top notch. And when I say, when we say TV processors, like the XR processing chip, right? It's kind of like, I feel like we're describing more like a graphics. Think graphics card, graphics. It's running your graphics of the TV itself. And that's what Sony is just really strong with. And its design is to give you accuracy, right? To make everything accurate, color accuracy, your backlighting control accurate, your motion accurate and smooth and all that stuff. So yes, Sony processing by far and away is the number one reason that Sony has such a great picture quality out there. So that's the best way I can describe it without going into crazy detail. And I think the safest for this episode here as well. Man, you guys are really interactive today. I love it. I love it. I mean, we have been spending probably just as much time talking about questions as we have talking about the episode, but I'm glad we could do this. Let's see. Yeshaya, this Connect app, I mean live TV streaming app for Sony TVs. So you're asking about a live TV streaming app for Sony TVs specifically. I don't know for sure, but I'm going to encourage you to throw that into the comments after this episode airs, if you can, because I definitely want to find the answer for you and see if maybe there is something that we can find you, right? I mean, if you're trying to do something and if we have it available, because off the top of my head, I'm not 100% sure if we have some sort of live streaming app that you can utilize that's Sony specific. But if you throw that in the chat, or sorry, into the comments after this episode, I will definitely see if we can find an answer for you. If that works for you, Yeshaya, I think. Yes. All right. Okay, Larry, Robert, you said Larry acknowledged that it was an issue. That's why I asked. So, okay, yeah, if Larry's talked about it, I'm not familiar with it being an issue or not. But yeah, if he's talked about it on like the Sony After Hours support channel and stuff like that, then yeah, I mean, I'm not coming across that issue in any of the products that I'm using the app with. So I'm going to sit here and say that I would assume that is something that did get handled. But I will talk to Larry about it. So again, if this is something that maybe you want to throw into the comments as well, and I'll confirm with Larry, after the episode and see if that was, one, if it was a real issue, or two, if it was maybe something that got fixed. But I haven't come across that issue myself. So, but thank you for bringing that up. Renee, you got your opinion about Sony difference. Thank you for chiming in with that. The difference of Sony TV is better components, quality for better longevity. No, I appreciate you for kind of chiming in on what separates Sony TVs from others. Aside from processing, yeah, longevity, Sony's just, I mean, remember old Trinitrons that are still alive today and operating, because it's just a solid product that just lasts forever. Yeah. Let's see. All right. Let's see if we can answer a couple more questions, because I don't want to like kill you guys with answering these questions, because we've spent probably more time answering than we have talking about the actual app itself. All right. Rodolfo. Rodolph. My friend just got a good deal on a Sony TV BRAVIA 8 series, and he is describing the vibrant colors and imaging quality as crazy. That's kind of a good description. It is crazy. Yes, the Bravia 8. That's a great TV. I wish I had it. I love my Bravia 5 though, so I think that's, again, a difference in brightness versus OLED contrast. So I like the bright picture on this. Both of them will give you really vibrant, accurate colors. So that's a good call out, man. I appreciate that for sure. All right, and then Robert, I think this is gonna be the last question I answer, just because I don't want to tie you guys up for a crazy amount of time here. So with your Connect app, you are saying there's no way to specifically check for updates to the RS5s and SW5. Only a check for update button. A7000 had those specific options. I will see if I can find out what's up with that for you. Again, there might be a future episode, so I think this is a good kind of segue into future topics. I appreciate that, and I think we can kind of bring this up into a future topic and talk maybe about using the Connect app with your, actually, you know what? I take that back. Tim, if you want to throw us up real quick, let's talk about the future topics, because I think this is one of them that kind of comes up, right? So, all right, so we're gonna roll with the questions kind of cut off for now, because I don't see anything new coming in. But let's wrap up here and talk about why you guys should absolutely be watching this channel for these simplified seminar episodes, because we have these almost every week, right? Or if not every week, but I'm going to round out and kind of promote what you guys should be watching next, right? So in the next few weeks, rounding out the end of the year, you have 1, 2, 3, you have 4 more episodes coming up. So 1210, that's next week. You have the Sony Link Buds Fit, so finding the perfect fit. You have the 1211, you have the Sony Alpha Creators app. So it's going to teach you how to transfer your photos. Very easy. And it is extremely easy to do, by the way. 1217, now this might be for you, Robert. We're going to talk about the Theater Bar 8. So very similar, right? You have the 9, I believe you said. But Theater Bar 8, pairing the Sony subwoofer and rear speakers, I think that might be a great opportunity to bring up any questions that you have specifically with the Bar 9 and usage in the app, because it'll be kind of on topic with what we're talking about, right? Today was kind of just talking about TVs and using the TV with the app. But I think that's a great opportunity for you, Robert, to check out that episode airing on 1217 to really get, a deep dive into the app and the Bar 9. And then 1218, we have episode going to be talking about the Sony Alt-Field 5. We're going to be unboxing it and kind of showing you how to set up your brand new Alt 5. So great stuff coming up there. And yeah, so the last thing I'm going to kind of mention to you guys is make sure that you guys are registering your products, your Sony products. And I'll tell you why that's important, because you can get these simple tips and tricks that we're talking about on these episodes sent to you, right? You can get notifications about firmware updates, things like that. But basically registering your product just gives you kind of the insider kind of info that comes out directly to you. So you get notifications, sent to your email when there are, maybe tips, maybe updates, things like that. So definitely anything, cameras, headphones, wireless speakers, TVs, sound bars, anything like that, please make sure you are registering your product, because it's going to benefit you guys watching this right now out there. So please do that. And then, yeah, I think that's it. So again, you guys, I thank you guys. We're so awesome today. Every single one of you guys. I hope I answered everyone's questions. You guys were super interactive. I appreciate that, because it's way more fun to do these when you guys can talk to me and I can talk to you guys, and kind of, yeah, we had our thing. We had our shared moment here today. But yes, if there's anything further in the future, any questions that come up, like I said, those few call outs where I said to maybe throw that question into the comments, please do that. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to access live chat anymore after this episode's over, but throw it in the comments and I'm going to do my best to answer it. I will get with Larry or Derek or any of the guys that you guys are familiar with that you talk to on SaaS. I will get further information and be able to share that info with you once I get the answers from them. But thank you guys so much. And I hope you guys learned something. Like I said, I think it was a great episode. I think it was fun. Very cool. I want to say cool so many times, but I know I say that way too much. But call me out for it next time. But thank you guys for watching. Until next time, I am Craig from Sony, and I will catch you on the flip side here at Sony Simplified.